Hey, it's James, Father's Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. As a reminder, I got full custody of my daughter when she was 7 months old. With no legal formal education, I represented myself and destroyed the mother's 17-year experienced attorney and a 10-year experienced guardian ad litem. And for the next 20 years, in and out of court, I've won in the court. I won in the Court of Appeals, contempt, fought off 7 attempts at bogus restraining orders, all without an attorney. And you can see my winning orders in my flow page, which has a section, proof of James's wins, and some of my winning court orders, including reversals in the Court of Appeals against an attorney with 40 years experience. So you should listen to what I got to say, because I've been where you've been and I've won what you want to win. And I've had thousands of people do the same thing. A lot of you guys want to follow attorneys. You don't even ask your attorney how many times you help get a dad 50-50, or how many times you overcome it. You don't even ask them. You just blindly give them money. And then you're like, oh, that James, he's sitting there in his home office in sweats and he doesn't have a fancy desk and a suit and tie. That's because you can't listen and pay attention to the actual substance and content of what I'm talking about. The folks who can, who aren't bamboozled and follow the lead of somebody with a fancy bar number and fancy office and all these bells and whistles. You're all entertained by all this you're in awe of all this star-studded intellectual show and smoke and mirrors. And you can't look at the substance. But here's what you really need to stop doing. Stop acting like everybody in the family court war has to follow your ethical code. You're in a war. I just talked to somebody this week who, was supposed to send some information to the opposing attorney. The opposing attorney is being evasive. And she was like, well, aren't they supposed to let me know? Or aren't they supposed to be courteous? Or aren't they supposed to be this and that? They don't have to do anything that your prissy little self wants them to do. Stop being a diva and expecting everybody to follow your ethical codes. You can't be a rugby player and walk into a soccer match and pick up the ball and run. You have to follow the rules. You have to learn the rules. Now, there's a bunch of stuff that this person, and we're working on a letter to hold this attorney accountable and scaring the crap out of this attorney for violating multiple rules of professional conduct. But you have to find out what those are. You can't sit around and just be a lazy biatch and not look up the rules, not look up the law, not do things that you could shove in their face to hold them accountable. You don't get to say, well, that's not nice and that hurts my feelings and I wouldn't do that to them. You're in a war. Grow up. Act like a grown-up and adult, not a diva that everybody needs to cater to. Realize this is a war and it's ugly and play hardball. And then don't be calling me after you ran around with your stupid ethical code and did stuff wrong. Do it right.